most fortunate to have this afternoon Mr. Michio Kushi, who's a lecturer in Oriental medicine, philosophy, and macrobiotics. Mr. Kushi has been in this country for the past 25 years, now residing in Boston, where he founded the East-West Foundation in 1972. In addition, he's the author of several books, has sponsored several periodicals, including the East-West Journal and the Order of the Universe, and conducts weekly seminars in the United States, Europe, and in Asia. Mr. Kushi is a graduate of Tokyo University in political science and international law and has studied at Columbia University. Recently, the East-West Foundation has sponsored a new community called the Ashburnham Project in Vermont. Mr. Kushi will talk to us today in the general area of yin and yang and its relation to architecture and planning. Mr. Michio Kushi.
Thank you very much for your gathering. Today I'd like to lay out general outline of the Oriental thinking of architecture and landscape. And for that, as various other departments of Oriental culture and civilization has been oriented by the same principle, the architecture and also landscaping or various kinds of the related arts, all also conducted by same principle. That is the understanding of order of the universe and its principles. The order of the universe and their principle, its principle, they summarize very simply this chart. I'd like to go over that, each one of them, but you can read yourself afterwards. So just very simply go, everything has come from infinite universe and manifests its appearance through natural process. This natural process is the original pattern is spiralic pattern. That spiral is logarithmic spiral. Spiral. Then everything is manifested into the form of spirals and creation goes. Therefore, spiral is centripedality, centrifugality. That means we call yang and yin force. Sign is like centripedality, centrifugality, or contraction and expansion. The spiral is, you have upon your head spirals, and you see the galaxy spiral. This Milky Way galaxy also spiral. And water circulation, wind circulation, everything also spirally pattern goes. Same way our body also spiralically goes. When we were in mother's womb, we were like this. This spiralically goes. And same thing with our arm spiral. And this spiral was 7 stages of spirals, although I abbreviate, 7 orbits of logarithmic spiral. Then everything changes constantly. This spiral changes constantly from outside to inside, inside to outside. and the spiral itself as if it appeared upon the invisible force of current, that something like form appear and then disappear, and form appear and disappear. Same way this entire universe appear and disappear, appear, disappear, as well as these galaxies, this light, and everything else. The trees and grasses also grow spirally. And then, at the time, peak comes, then start to decay. And then again grow. Constantly change. So this changing process is governed by yang force, yin force, and its interreactions, contraction and expansion. And that law, yin attracts yang, yang attracts yin, opposite things attract each other. And same things repel each other. Yang repel yang, yin repel yin. And same way, if we become yang extreme, very condensed, very compacted, then begin expansion. And when expansion becomes extreme, then turn into the contraction. Endless cycles goes. So there, with definite law, these two forces governing all changes and manifestation of all phenomena. Then, Oriental way of thinking of architecture or other human construction arts are nothing but how to interpret, how to apply this law of change into our life. In order to keep the health, that is medicine, they apply medical way these principles. Other way, government, they apply that. Other way, education, they apply that. And now architecture and landscaping, so forth. At present time, our architectural tendencies, especially in greater cities, population is very large. Then they live very close to the conditions. At that time, they do not consider nature much, just how to live the space. This type of architecture is modern type of architectures. But traditional one, especially like Far Eastern countries, their architecture was how to live together with nature. So they wanted to make adaptation and harmony among various world architectures, two types of architecture. How to protect ourselves from nature. So wall is thick and the entrance is small and this protects us. Because nature has been severe conditions. But in Far Eastern countries, Oriental countries, rather they go opposite way. How to harmonize, how to use nature, how to adapt to the nature. This has been largely different between the European orientation of architecture, especially Northern Europe, and also Far Eastern orientation. First of all, this North and South problems. When we have the Earth rotates, then Earth generates centrifugalities, that expanding force. And then from the north and south, we receive centripetality, contracting force. Upon the earth, there are many phenomena. Those phenomena are all manifested between those two forces, yin force, yang force. Then, since the northern climatic zone, more these heavens forces are stronger. So their architectural structure goes non-nuclear. Northern Canada, Eskimo, force is strong. Then start to appear like this structure. Force is strong. Then more middle regions start to appear this type. Then more start to appear more higher type. Now going toward the centrifugalities. Then furthermore goes, then start to become like, roof become like that pagoda. This is using more centrifugality. If hot land like Burma, Thailand, etc., if like this construction there, it appears too heavy. While northern countries, if like this, it's too light, unbalanced in the nature. Warm, hot climate, and this more cold climate. Automatically construction is adapting those centripetal centrifugal forces. Similarly, they divide also in and out. That means while we are living daily life, should be clearly divided yin and yang. That means daytime activity outside life. Then living inside of a house should be very defined. So their orientation was they made floor a little higher. They take out shoes when they get in the house. And outside we walk this way, but inside they sit on the floor. And then inside is more the quietly arranged. And outside is more the active way arranged. And that very distinctive differences make their daily life very clearly divided. But in these countries, as you know, we get in the house with shoe. And even we go back to the bedroom. Sometimes when you are lazy, you lay down with a shoe in the bedroom. Those things in Oriental countries, they cannot consider at all. They get off shoe and they get in. And then totally different the manner and habits or the way of style, of expression, behavior, outside, inside. And however, in those countries, they also consider their problems. Suppose they have a house. This house should be harmonized with the nature, so must take in some nature along the house. standard, traditional, should be 1 to 7 space. 5, this you can consider this is the order of the one of manifestation of natures. But at that time, this house should not be centered, should be a little bit aside. But when they put this, suppose, house area, they put here that they have tendency to put here wall, either wall or maybe some kind of trees or whatever, making a section. And very high. People cannot see this. And here they are relaxing and making this house division is sliding doors. So anytime they can connect with the outside, anytime they connect. Or each other's floor, each room, they connect with a sliding door, so they take out sliding door or open, then become large space. And closet, also sliding door. Then they put the like bed mat, whatever. Then they fold them, they put in the closet clothes. Then very large space comes. There they use for study, or there they use living room. Evening time again open and they change into bedroom. In other words, trying to use room for malfunction purpose. Not bedroom, studio, living room, but one space, multiple use. For that, they put the sliding door, as well as outside of window type. This is also sliding one. Then can be used in the house. Also can be used as outside. So they made this like this. But in America, it's opposite. They don't put the fence much. They leave open space to the next property. But they divide in the house. Each bedroom, they divide. And in the bedrooms, they put keys for doors. This is independent. There, this is independent. The whole family or whoever living, that is totally open and intimate. There, individual person is relaxing in those cells. But once they get out, they must wear the suits or must wear shoes, and even inside of a house is just like street, public street. And so they don't put the fence goals. Orientation is individual person's life or family group type of people's life. Their orientation is different. And then, furthermore, this force, they traditional old house, they have considered this house, this church, are most important consideration, such as, for example, their mountain. When they consider to put up the house, they don't put the north of mountain. They put either south or either mountain or forests to be either north or west. You can understand this fine. There, and as well as we are living in northern hemispheres, then wind is generated towards this way, current. Then this way coming. So we put up there. And similar way, there is a house. Then they don't put like living room, northwest corner. Northwest corner they consider most in part. Southeast more young. So very active part such as go and out, or receiving guests, or social entertainment go, like living room situation, to be this on south or east. Like kitchens, food preparation is needed, and fire is needed. That is more quiet place, but not very in dark place. Should be more like towards west place. Studio, if they put very south, open bright sunshine, sun goes like this, then they cannot study. So they put more north or they put east. And the bedroom, if towards south, again cannot rest well. So put up more north or put up west. Likewise, depends on direction, how sun move, how wind comes, how mountain, river, or field goes, how water stream goes. By those all natural conditions they think out, and they select position, and they select the plan, the shape of house. The shape of house, traditionally, although we are modern architecture, we are using like symmetries. But there is no symmetry in universe. Everything is asymmetry. Everything is asymmetry. There is nothing identical one. So same way, they hated traditionally to make perfect symmetry. Always try to make somewhat different left and right balance, or back and front balance. And that unbalanced balance, they appreciated very much. Such as flower arrangement. Usual flower arrangement in this country or whatever, make when I am watching that people flower arrangement, do like flower like that or very symmetrically. But their flower arrangement doesn't go like this. Their flower arrangement is making some build. They call this table. Then they make lower. They call this earth. Then in between one, they put up. And they call this man. When we see this, everything asymmetric, but as a whole, that is balance. That way, asymmetrical balance, unbalanced balance, they appreciated much more than symmetrical balance, or balanced balance. And rather they felt uncomfortable if symmetrical balance. They felt this is not natural, this is not balanced, this is unbalanced. Symmetrical balance, they feel unbalanced because they see surroundings more. Then with the surroundings, if very square, symmetrical one there, geometrically oriented, mathematically oriented one there, then it's very unbalanced. So they feel very uncomfortable. Rather more asymmetrical way they arrange. Suppose when you get in the house, in the living room, the centers, they see some kind of the higher place. There they put some ornament, etc. No house put ornament. Suppose two ornaments, same ornament, right? If one is small, another one is large. And if one is square, another one is more round, oblong, making asymmetrical. And that way, they tried to see the balance. Now, this one has also far more important meanings. Please come here. Sit down. Please come down. Sit down. Now, when this earth moves, forward, when the earth moves or rotates, this expanding force, in force, and yang force from heaven comes. At that time, suppose if we see this one from the top, from the north, first rotate this way. Right? This in centrifugality. Since this rotates this way, how to go this? This one go towards this way. Right? And yang centrifugality, that means heaven's force. Since rotate this way, so getting right? So this in earth force make clockwise spirals from inside towards outside. Yang heaven's force make counterclockwise from outside towards inside. Right? Okay? Then, now suppose here, the earth. Centripetality, centrifugality. This is heaven's force, this is earth. Earth force making this type of spiral and coming up. Heaven's force, this type of spiral going down. Okay? Clockwise, counterclockwise. Now please. This is nothing but nail clipper, 45 cents. Just look at them, very relaxed. Now, what force? Which force? Heaven's force or earth's force? Heaven's force. Right? Counterclockwise going. Throughout his body, heaven's force there. Okay? Alright? Now, please ready. Please sit down. You sit down. Earth. Okay? Now please touch each other, your hand. Please detach your hand. Okay. Now you understand, right? She is representing Earth force. Okay? All right? Then please stand up. Stand up. Okay? Now, by that, you can understand now. He is made up by heaven force. This force goes how? Enter from his head, that is spirally center. Right? Although very thin. And then that force charge this center of brain, midbrain. Right? And then from their distribution and charge is various cells, brain cells. So their conception goes, wave charge. Then furthermore going down, then you know that when you are a child, you wandered in the front of mirrors, opening your mouth, something deep inside, something strange thing hanging down. Huh? What they call that? Ubura. 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 That ubura hanging down deep inside, their charge comes. That is the south pole of this, right? Square. Okay? North pole, south pole. On the Earth's north pole, where more heavenly force comes, there are aurora borealis force. Same way here, so-called the aura force. Okay? Then that charge, ubra, transmitted to the tongue, roots of tongue, and vibrate these regions. So he can breathe, he can speak. Then further charge is heart. Okay? Then furthermore go down to the stomach. And then further charge is hara. Okay? And there also intestinal motion goes. Then further go down, create another ubura. Okay? Another. This is his constitution. Her constitution different. Right? Her constitution, yes, of course, upper region receive heaven's force. So this head spiral go and ubra also go. But this is different. Of course, heaven's force may be coming down also, but earth's force strongly will go. So lower region, no more ubra. Very small ubra, so-called clitoris. Instead, we are getting, and then heaven and earth collide their spiral arise, create so-called ovary. Furthermore, escape the earth force, strong one go, another heaven force, then create breast. Okay? And charge here. Right? Now, this earth force, heaven force, this heaven's force, of course, slightly coming earth force too. Right? Those things is creating so-called in Indian word like 7 chakras. Okay? Right? Charge 1, charge 2, entrance, exit 4, then in between 1, 1, 1. Altogether 7 chakra force. Okay? That is the arriving life energy vitality charge center when they stand like this. Okay? Without that charge, his human life is not alive. So, point is, when he meditates, when they meet together, or when they live alone, whatever, how to keep up their health, how to keep up their spirituality, mentality, problem is how to be charged by heaven and earth force, our condition. One, we must have good eating and make our blood very chargeable. And so cell qualities become very good condition. So we must eat macrobiotically, climatically, seasonally, very good food. Second, we should be our living conditions to be chargeable. This force constantly coming. There, thank you very much. Their consideration of architecture force. Their consideration of architects is heaven's force. This is man. Earth's force. This is woman they create. Then consideration goes how to put up the house. So they made up. Typical example is shrine. They made shrines or whatever. This is just abbreviated. They leave open inside of house. Let's abbreviate colon. Let's abbreviate staircase too. Now suppose like this. Pi like just like antenna picking up and transmitting and go down. But they like to gather. And this pole also picking up from the earth and transmitted and goes. Similar way, big poles you hang down like this, which may be hidden from the ceiling. Then this between this and that charge going on. Then people sit here, suppose. Then the charge more activated. And so they considered this the wood, very special type of wood. Usually they use cypress, and they cut this night time, not daytime, night time. They considered that is more electromagnetically charged, is much easier, and they avoided as much as possible the things which disturb electromagnetic charge in the room or in the house, living circumstance. So same way, if you have plenty of rings, this disturb of this key flow, energy flow. So they avoided to use metals in the construction, like nails. And as much as possible they avoided, although troublesome, they developed this very unique method to make this together. And also they avoided to use various kinds of artificial materials, left as natural as possible, those wooden surface, wall surface, or floor, etc. Making whoever lives, heaven and earth charge become very active. That makes them healthy, that makes them thinking clearer. That way they oriented their structures or constructions. And not only shrines, but also in the ordinary house, if that is very traditional one, similar kind of orientation, and they arrange a similar way until about 100 years ago, until so-called modern civilization started to take over. And so their consideration was, number one, in the house or structure, natural adaptation, harmony. Second, their direct surroundings should be natural, nature's miniature, nature's copy. So, you know that landscape begins. There, even though you have a small backyard, there they make mound, they make small pond, they make small bridge, they make small river, they make small trees, and they appreciate nature is there, whole nature, living together with nature. At extreme point, more developed, so-called bonsai, bonsai, miniature tree. The small, this flower vase, they put trees and sceneries, and they feel that tree is big tree, mountains, living together. And trying to be, they themselves with them and living within it together. And so, those landscapes, so forth, again, should be as much as possible natural order, and consider also directions, wind directions, so forth. And the third consideration is health and spiritually high. In connection with this, also, they avoided to select the location of house or living constructions if previously that land is cemetery or battlefield and many people died, or some people committed suicide or hung their neck and so forth and died and buried there. Then they consider this vibration is disturbing this area. And if we live there, we become affected and become sick, become mental illness or unhappy things arise. So we cannot be healthy, we cannot be pure, we cannot be spiritual. So we avoid there. And such kinds of, so when they set up the house or living residence or whatever they make for long period, for the purpose of long period of use, they were very careful the selection of location, checking up history and asking neighbors However, it appears very attractively now. Whether 100 years ago some battle was made there, this locality, so forth, they are very careful. And also, when they begin, not the individual house now, but used to be for all individual house, but now the public use, like office building or etc. Then they call like priest or Shinto shrines, the priest, and first they pray, and they make ceremony, and they make purify this delusional bad vibrations. Then they begin to structure. Similar way, when they build, even present today, some like old shrine, etc., then every builders, they take the waters, get up early morning, take waters, and eat well. Some master of them sometimes fast several days before that, and purify them, and pray that, and then they begin the constructions. Those they consider vibration or spirit waves, those energies, surrounding invisible energies, very important one. And that way they oriented the constructions and house architecture, so forth. And so, like when American occupation began, after the end of war, before that, suppose big house. Big house was traditionally 200, 300 years old big house. They left all walls, etc., floors, natural wood. So practically every day they were polishing. And like rice grams, they made sack, and every day polishing. And poles, pillars, every day polishing like. So 100, 200 years shines, not vivid shine, but very nice sinking shine. Gold. Then American army came and occupation began. Big house, many big house is ordered to be used for American armies. Then soldiers come in. What they did, as soon as they come in, they felt this is wood only. Next day they go out with a jeep, they get back with paint, and paint goes. White paint, blue paint, etc. After occupation left, a couple of years later, 2-3 years later, Japanese family, their family came back. They literally cry and broken heart. Now, vibration is totally different. No more spiritual vibrations. No more 100 years polishing. That taste, nice taste, of deep sinking taste, mental, spiritual taste, not there. Literally they cry. And so, for them, natural wood and polish, cared long time is much more far expensive, valuable than modern paintings. And similar way, the people who are very conscious people of health, they try, even now, they try to avoid as much as possible to use plastic items. Also as much as possible to use the metal items, etc. Now just very briefly, this one, which I gave, that is the very ancient calendar. This very ancient calendar, we don't know when began, some thousands of years ago began. And that calendar sectionized 80 sections, and 12 sections like that, house, etc., tiger, so forth, goes. This is the calendar of the every month at the same time every year. At the same time, if you put it this way, right, the direction. And at the time, those black spot, right, 8 black spot is there. That is winter solstice, summer solstice, and this spring equinox and autumnal equinox, and between each beginning of each season. You can apply this as a 1 day's time cycle. Apply this 1 month time cycle, 1 year time cycle, 12 years time cycles, as well as you can apply directions. This is the universal measurement scale for architecture as well as the space-time, any measurement. This was, strange enough, exactly same one, same orientation and same number for 80 sections. Aztec calendars, Aztec calendar, Mexico City, big army. Exactly. This in Paris is called Kannagi Guruma, God manifestation, eternal wagon cycle. And that one is also exactly same orientation, same number of sections, etc. So you can consider throughout the entire world this principle of order of universe were very universal and common once long time ago. Stonehenge also built same orientation like this. And if you do square, then pyramid also can be built in this way. And pyramid, like ancient Far Eastern language, pyramid is P or H means light or wave or electromagnetic energy. Ra means sound of wave, sound of wave. Mix means feel, fluid, or fill in. To or do means construction, building. Pyramid meaning is electromagnetic charging building, or vibration, key flow, the charging building. So they used that building also for keeping body, which can keep long time without purification, etc. And so their purpose, we can understand very the same kinds of purpose, like charging heaven and earth force. So when you do design future, your lifetime, some building for yourself, for society, building or any landscape, please consider about so-called key flow, heaven and earth force, and nature. Nature's key flow, wind, river, water, sun, sunshine, stars, key flow, radiation, etc. And from that, you orient your designs, your materials, your arrangement of rooms, etc. Thank you very much.